Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to offer dana, then please do go to justthiszen.org/giving. Your support really does make a huge difference. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for your patience, and it's really lovely to be here this morning, and I'm really looking forward to sharing a talk with you, and having some meetings a little bit later on this morning. So I'm just adjusting to the fact that my notes have become partial, so I can see some of them, which is probably rather like our experience of life. I have a partial view of reality. So I'd like to take you for a walk with me this morning through my mind, and I was supported by a statement by T.S. Eliot in Ash Wednesday, and he said, I pray that I may forget these matters that with myself I too much discuss, too much explain. And that felt very resonant with my own mind. These matters that with myself I too much discuss, too much explain. And I wonder if it resonates with you as well. So I was walking past a little restaurant called Tuck in Lancaster. Some of you will know it, a few days ago. And a young woman walked out and started walking in front of me. And I was amazed that within a few moments she was about 100 yards ahead of me. And I thought, why do people walk so quickly these days? And then I realized it's not that people have started walking more quickly, it's that I've been walking more slowly, particularly in the last year, when I've had some energy and health challenges. One of the repeating thoughts I have at the moment is that when my father was my age, we had, for a long time gone for long walks, and he was, relatively mobile and fit, and he started to really slow up. And within a few years, we could only do short walks together, which included a lot of pauses, which were opportunities to also to enjoy the landscape. But one of the things that I've been aware of is wanting to not let that happen to me, as though I had a choice about these things. And perhaps I do have a choice about exercise to some extent, but it's a repeated thought, particularly when I'm walking. And I've been aware of some days I come home and I'm really pleased with how I've done. And some days I walk home and I'm like one of those clockwork toys that are gradually winding down on the last half a mile, and then I come to the door and my energy has completely disappeared, and I need a rest before I can wind, my, wind myself up again. And so these thoughts accompany me a lot on walks at the moment. So I'm only having a partial experience of the beauty of walking anywhere. And I think it's really interesting how self-referential we are in our lives. That everything is related to kind of how we're doing and how we're being and how we're appearing. And our practice, I think, is to notice that, to notice the drama that we're living in, and if we can catch that, that is the beginning of freedom. Because even if those thoughts continue, they're held in a bigger container and a much kinder container than the tyranny of, for me, wanting to be like I was a year ago and being quite sad and frustrated that that's not possible anymore. So I'm just having to move this verse into view, and I'm going to have to move it around as I read it. So in the in Dogen's Genjōkōan, he says, "Firewood becomes ash. Ash cannot become firewood again. However, we should not view ash as after and firewood as before. We should know that firewood dwells in the Dharma position of firewood and has its own before and after. Although before and after exist, past and future are cut off. Although before and after exist, past and future are cut off. Ash stays in the position of ash with its own before and after." And so this actually did come to me while I was walking. I thought of the Genjōkōan, and I've adapted it a little bit for us and for whoever we may have been a year ago. So the first line is, "Firewood becomes ash. Ash cannot become firewood again. You a year ago became you now. You cannot return to being you a year ago. However, we should not view ash as after and firewood as before. However, you should not view you now as after and you a year ago as before. We should know that firewood dwells in the Dharma position of firewood and has its own before and after. You should know that you a year ago dwelled in the Dharma position of you then, and you then had your own before and after. Although before and after exist, past and future are cut off. Although before and after exist, past and future are cut off. Ash stays in the position of ash, with its own before and after. You now stay in the position of you now, with your own past and future." So I found it helpful to play a little bit with the Genjōkōan, but I'm not sure I understand it. So I have a partial experience of it, and it's helpful, but I don't realize it at this point. It's a bit like I had pink tinted glasses on before, and I've got blue ones which are slightly better, but they offer possibilities. So I'm really curious about, sometimes we hear things, we say things, and we think we get it, but it's very attractive to think we get it. But there's something about contemplating a year ago who I was from the through the lens of the Genjōkōan. So I was in Chester's in Ambleside the other day, and some of you will know that delightful shop. And I picked up this new book by Richard Ayoade, and you know, the balm of humour. Isn't it just wonderful? You're moving through your life, and you just find something exquisitely funny, and it's such a gift. And I started reading things from his book and laughing out loud. And what a gift that somebody can give you that beautiful experience. So his book's called Afterthoughts, or Some Pistachios Won't Open, and I really saw myself in this. When I look back at myself in the past, I think, who is that person? Do you ever do that? And then I say to myself, how can he be stopped? I look back at myself, I think that's a really good question. And then I think, who's stopping me now? So who is that person is a great Dharma question. It's to study the self, to clarify this self we think we are, which is also constantly changing. So it probably needs to be asked every day, who is that person? And how can he be stopped? How can she be stopped? And there was something about it that made me think, well, how could I be stopped now? You know, what's stopping me now from unhelpful behaviors and behaviors that aren't kind towards myself? And I was thinking that for stopping could be, the deep pause of practice, to make yourself available to the Dharma, the teachings, because they support and protect us. One of the ways of thinking about practice is to think about protecting ourselves from ourselves and protecting others from us, and being kind to ourselves and to others and to the world, and not making matters worse. Just if we could orientate ourselves to just not making matters worse, that would be a wonderful practice. So one of the deep ways of thinking about our practice is this wonderful phrase called Menmitsu no Kafu. And Jakusho Kwong, who's a Dharma heir of Suzuki Roshi, said, one time at Tassajara, we were visited by a monk named Tatsugami. He introduced us to the expression Menmitsu no Kafu. This term is very important for those of us who practice the Soto way. Suzuki Roshi said that Menmitsu no Kafu means being very careful in doing things and being very considerate. So if we were to describe our practice, we could say we have a very careful and considerate style. Jakusho Kong goes on to say, in Zen, we say that you may find everything within your own mind. Isn't that beautiful? You may find everything within your own mind. Nothing is missing right here within you. Where you are, as you are, you can find everything within. This understanding is at the very root of Menmitsu no Kafu, and all the ways we express it, including placing your shoes together outside the zendo, folding your clothes in your room, working with utensils in the kitchen, or tools in the garden, practicing zazen, and living your daily life with people in the world. Once you realize this, you will see how Menmitsu no Kafu is a natural expression of recognition and gratitude rooted in this wondrous and spacious big mind. And if I move towards thinking about big mind or expressing big mind, I also realize that all the thoughts I have about wellness and walking that I expressed are contained within this big mind. And one of my questions is the inquiry into it that I've shared today, and the playing with the Genjōkōan. Does that come from small mind? Because I'm messing with it. Can I just, in big mind, accept and be with all the different things that are happening at any one time, and not try to think I need to do something to have a better lens in my glasses, which of course is helpful, but how can we hold everything within big mind as we live this life? Suzuki Roshi said that everything is included within your mind, is the essence of mind. Whatever you experience is an expression of big mind. Whether you like the thoughts or you dislike them, whether you want to change them, whatever you experience is an expression of big mind. So I'm really curious in my own practice, when I'm a large enough container to hold it all, and when I'm actually seeing things, which happens inevitably most of the time through small mind. So those are my musings this morning, and they're different from my musings last night. So they're constantly flowing and changing. So that's what I have to share this morning, and I'm sorry about the difficulty with my notes. And just to finish, a quote from Gifford. The principle in daily life is to keep your mind clear. The principle in daily life is to keep your mind clear and focused on the task in hand. Just walking by the canal. Every once in a while, you can bring forth the teachings in this book. It's the preface to his wonderful commentary on the Gateless Gate. Every once in a while, you can bring forth the teachings in this book. But the principle in daily life is to keep the mind clear and focused on the task in hand. And I'll finish there. And if you would like to meet and explore your life and your practice, that would be lovely. Thank you so much.